Action. Okay.
Brian Little.
Yo, what's good, y'all? This is Law, and you're tuned into another episode of Redline Legendz, where we celebrate our legends and we bridge the gap between the younger generation and the older generation. Today, I have a special guest, somebody that's very important, very influential to the Nashville community, to the state, to the city. He's a good friend of mine. I consider him an older brother, a positive influence, somebody that always has something positive to give to me, whether it be knowledge or advice. Talking about none other than the vice president of the Steel Horsemen Motorcycle Club, 5000. How you doing, sir?
My brother, what's going on, baby?
Not much, man.
Thanks for having me. Thank you for having me.
No problem, man. No problem. I'm glad you. Thanks for coming through. Kicking
Finally.
I know, right? I know, right, man?
Yeah.
We made it happen.
Yes, sir.
And I'm glad you're here, man. Man, we just chop it up about a few things motorcycle related and
Absolutely.
anything that you want to talk about. We'll get off into the history, though.
Absolutely.
You know, I'll say one thing that I know about you. You're always yourself. When we're out here on the set and we're attending events, you're heavily involved in community service. You're heavily involved in just being a participant of the set and wanting to see the set go in the right direction. You're always yourself.
Man, that's high praise, bro. That's high praise right there.
That's something that I've always admired. So how'd you get into it? Where did it all come from? Where was the beginning of it?
It's kind of a convoluted story, but basically where it comes from, I mean, all I literally have ever done all my life is music and motorcycles. Just a quick background. My dad bought his first motorcycle when I was 5.
Yeah.
And he bought a little Yamaha 650, and he bought me a little Indian 50, which I still have.
Wow.
And 2 years later, he decided he was going to upgrade. So one of his co-workers said, "Hey, I'm selling this Harley Davidson." So my dad comes home and tells my mom and me, "I'm going to buy a new motorcycle." And he hands me this brochure, and I had no clue what a Harley Davidson was. He brings it home, and it opens up a whole new world to me. Fast forward into my teenage years when I'm old enough to ride it, which I started riding at 11, but I kind of got immersed into the culture.
Yeah.
And he always said, "You'll never join no motorcycle club. Motorcycle clubs ain't no good." So what's the first thing I do is I got grown.
Wow.
First thing I did,
Join the motorcycle.
I met the guys that started Steel Horsemen, which is a whole nother story.
Yeah.
And I got introduced to what I found out was the set. And the rest is history. It's been who I am, and what I am is what I do.
So you went straight for the one thing he said don't
The
do.
one thing he said don't do. Well, you know, in my dad's mind, you know, back in the 70s, the only people that rode Harley Davidsons were, as far as blacks, you had Dilly. You had these guys that were road runners that rode some Harleys, you know.
Yeah,
Most,
shout out road runners.
Yeah, most of those guys rode Jap bikes.
Okay.
So the guys that when my dad riding Harley
You said
Davidson,
what kind of bikes were they?
Jap bikes.
Oh, Jap bikes.
Jap bikes,
Gotcha.
Your cows, you know, your
Okay,
cows,
okay.
your 900s, your Suzukis, and this is back when Gold Wings first come out. So anyway, my dad, he was recruited by quite a few people, but my dad, he said, "It's not me, so that don't need to be you."
Gotcha.
So that's how I kind of got immersed into it. And once I found out about the brotherhood aspect of being in a club and whatnot, no looking back. No looking back at all.
All right, so you ended up getting into the club. Where did the name 5000 come from? I've heard, because I heard the name. Look, I heard the name before I even seen you. Oh yeah, 5000 with Steel Horsemen, 5000 with this. Like,
well, that's good. You heard, as long as you heard nothing bad.
Nothing bad.
Let's just say it's two parts. One comes from the saying back in the early 90s, date myself, early 90s, Audi 5000. I actually had it on the tag in my little Beretta GTC way back in the 90s. But the other part comes from my brother, Chris Price, the king. May he rest in peace.
Yes, sir.
I told him about a little funny story, a little inside joke about 5,000. And he fell out in the clubhouse laughing and said, you know what, from now on, your name is 5,000. I don't care what you say. Matter of fact, I'm going to get a patch made that got 5,000 on it. And the patch that I have on my vest right now, it came from him. So he blessed me with it, and I started running by that. Never looked back. Wow. That's where it comes from. So I give those props to the king.
That's what's up. That's what's
yes,
up.
Sir.
So how old were you when you joined Still Horsemen?
Well, put it like this. When I met Vic and Big O and Suntan and all these guys that actually started Still Horsemen, I was 20 years old. And when I started around with these cats, they knew me as the young guy, the young boy on the old Harley. They didn't know my name. They didn't. So they kept talking about a lot of these guys were in previous clubs. They were in the Cobras and things like that. Said Goodbye. All these guys, they kept saying, we're gonna start a club. Well, it goes back to what my dad said. You don't join no club. So I went to Germany with Uncle Sam, came back, they started the club. So I waited another couple of years, and I actually put a patch on in 1991. I'm sorry, 2001. 2001 when I put a patch on. And when I realized the brotherhood aspect of everything, best move I ever made. I loved actually being able to ride with guys on similar machines with similar likes. It was funny. Everywhere I went, everyone said, what you doing on that? What you doing on that old man bike? Why you joining that old man club?
So you was a young guy on a Harley.
Young man on a Harley with old cats. I think the closest person in age with me was CO. Shout out to my big bro. And he had me by 10 years minimum. Yeah. So it was an experience, but it allowed me to see things from a different light. Mm-hmm. I started learning from these cats,
And that's what I was gonna say, man. That a lot of times, like just listening to that, knowing you as a younger guy, and you join an older club per se. Mm-hmm. From the outside looking in, if you hadn't really been on the set, you would say, well, why would he do that? Mm-hmm. But then, from my perspective of being on the set now and understanding a little better than what I knew back then, I was like, that was probably the best move anybody could have made.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
One thing I skipped over is the first. I had a barber named Charles Dunbar. I ride my dad's bike to his barber shop. So he kept saying, I know about a bike from this guy named Dusty, which I didn't know who Dusty was. Shout out to Dusty of Roadrunners. I'm Lowriders, I'm sorry. Okay. And everybody said, oh man, I'm gonna buy Dusty's bike. So he bought his bike and put it together. He said, I tell you what, let's go riding one Sunday. I want to introduce you to this guy named Quintana. So I meet him that Sunday morning. We ride out East Nashville. We pull up to this guy's house. This little thin guy comes out. Hey, what's going on, man? What's your name? He introduced him. My name Quintana. And so we're talking, and he looking at my dad's bike. He's looking at it. Oh, shovel head, huh? My daddy rode a shovel head. Joe. My daddy rode a shovel head. My daddy, bless his heart, my dad was killed on the shovel head. So Quintana opens up his garage, and I see this bike that I ain't never seen nothing but a white boy ride in the magazines and whatnot. Wow, man, you mean black guys got bikes like this? And Quinn is literally who opened me up to the whole world of the set.
Wow.
You know,
Yeah.
next time I saw him was at a field meet when lowriders was still having they field meet up on Clarksville Highway, and I hung out with him and those guys, and I was like a big old kid. Women and drinking and fun and everybody laughing and food. I never seen anything like it in my life. It was just everybody was just having a good time.
Yeah.
Wasn't no static, wasn't any pressure. It was just fun, and everybody looking at me like, "Who is this boy on this Harley?"
Wow.
If you notice, that's the same prevailing
Yeah.
theme, you know. Yeah.
That's crazy just to be that one young guy. So you've seen a lot. You've processed a lot, and you've seen the progression. You've seen from that point moving all the way until now. What are your thoughts on the progression? Like, how do you feel about the way things have, the direction that it's heading in, or what are some areas, or just how do you feel about the set? I mean, especially with our city, how do you feel about it?
Well, tell you this, bro. It's funny going back to the statement I made about everybody saying, you know, young guy on the old Harley or the young guy in the old club. You know, it's funny to me now to see the one wheels and the, you know,
Yeah.
all right, you know, some of the see these guys all on Harley Davidsons, you know, or cruisers as it were, you know, because, you know, to see guys get older, slow down and see it for what it is. You know, back when I came on the set, I would tell everybody, y'all will get it. You'll get it. You'll get it one day. You'll see what I see. You know. So to see the set grow as it has, to see people they come in one way. They come in, you know, ready, blue means go. You know, and you know, and raising sand and all this and other.
We ready to go.
Oh man, and to see these same people worried about the dB levels on their radio. You know what I'm saying? They worried about DB, you know, they worried about their torque settings. Let's get a little more so when we get out, hey, what kind of seat you running? Hey, what kind of bars you running?
Yeah.
To see so many gentlemen do these things, to see ladies, it makes me feel old, but it makes me feel good to see everybody progress. And as you get older, you get wiser. You know, and it slows everybody down. But when we do the annual toy run and you see everybody, you hear that V-twin sound. You know, oh man, does my heart good.
I remember, man, when you would hit up a bike night and it'd be nothing but just sport bikes every night. Yeah. Sport bikes.
That's all you hear.
And then it was just like
all
overnight,
of a sudden,
it was just like bam, 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 bam. And then everybody just started pulling up.
Here's something funny that I literally just noticed yesterday. I saw my armband from One Wheel's Epic Party. All right, just yesterday, and it was in the armrest of my car, and I turned it over, and what's on the armband? A bar and shield, and we all know what a bar and shield is. I said,
I
boy,
didn't even look at that.
It's right there in front of it. I said, One Wheel literally has turned the corner. Shout out to One Wheel.
Shout out One Wheel.
So no, bro, it's a beautiful thing to see everybody kind of get there. So, no.
It is. It really is, and it's good. I mean, it's just crazy how it happened, though. It's real crazy.
It really is. When you look up, everything changes. You know, and I guess with Steel Horsemen being one of the older clubs, you know.
A lot of people look up to you guys. You're like, I would say pretty much everybody here, especially in the city.
Well, that means a lot, brother.
They look up.
It means a lot. We you know, the club is slowed down. I mean, older cats. You know, we've lost some here, we lost some there, we picked up some. It was funny because Steel Horseman used to be a destination club. Well, when I get older and I get a Harley, I'll come see the Steel Horseman. Well, now everybody got a Harley in their club. So, you know, and that's always the joke. So, but we've embraced our role as being elder statesmen.
Yeah.
We might not always show up in numbers. We might not always show up deep, but we're there.
Yeah.
I feel the need to make sure I carry that mantle of the Pegasus. And as long as I'm got breath in my body, I always do that.
Yeah. So, my next question for you, like I said, you've seen a lot. You've been a part of a lot. You've seen the ups and downs. You've actually been a part of the ups and downs, and being able to sustain and push through and see the other end, go through the storm. Advice to the newcomer, the new guy that says, "Hey, my dad don't want me to join a club." You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking about joining the club.
Same thing. Huh?
What? Yeah. What advice you got for me?
I will say this. I'll echo what other gentlemen who sat in this seat have said. Listen and learn.
Yeah.
Listen and learn. Be quick to listen, slow to speak.
Yeah.
There's a lot of knowledge out there. There's a lot of false knowledge as well.
Yeah.
There's a lot of agendas, but that's with anything. That's with any organization. So what you have to do is you have to learn and have that, no other way to say it, that spirit of discernment.
Yeah.
To be able to separate the BS from what you need to know. I would recommend just getting out and listening, just hanging out, just finding you somebody that's willing to teach you. Find you someone that's willing to say, okay, bro, okay, hey, let's turn the block. Because one thing about it, with all of us, the one thing we have in common are those tools.
Right.
It don't matter what it is, we got that on tools. And no matter what's going on, no matter good or bad or indifferent, as long as you're on them tools, I don't care if you ride from here to there and sit down and eat a biscuit and come back. As long as you're on them tools, you got something in common.
Yeah.
And that would be the one thing I would never tell somebody. Get on your bike and ride it. All right? Everybody ain't comfortable riding from here to, busting them long blocks like you got with that big old bike. Some people ain't even comfortable riding to Murfreesboro from Nashville.
Yeah.
But as long as you can and you can get with some people of like minds, the rest will fall right in place.
Yeah.
That'd be the best advice I can give someone, like somebody new, bro.
That's what's up. My last thing I want to touch on, like I said at the beginning of the interview, you've always just been yourself. You know what I'm saying? Talk about that, like the importance of being yourself out here on the set.
If you don't have an agenda, my big brother CEO always says but two things that break up brotherhood. There's money and that ish. All right? And that's been happening since the memory of man runs, not to the contrary. Since before Jesus walked the earth.
Man.
All right? True. So in my mind, as long as I am who I am, in my mind, as long as I can smile and people ain't got nothing bad to say about old Five Thizzle, I'm good, bro. Yeah. I appreciate the fact that I know I can walk in somewhere and I don't have to have a vest on. Yeah. I ain't got to have a thing with a Pegasus on it, but people know who I am.
Yeah.
That means a lot to me. I know I can make a phone call and I know people going to come for me. That's what it's all about. So I would say that with who I am and how as you say, I'm perceived, not to get biblical, the Bible say a good name is worth more than riches.
Right.
So I like to think that the fact that I have a good name means more than anything to me, bro. It means more than the weight of a new street glide in gold, bro. And that's real talk.
Well, man, I appreciate you coming out, man.
Appreciate it too, bro. And for the record, your photographer serving me this crack right here. It's good stuff, baby.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
No, I appreciate it, bro. We've been struggling to get out here, life and everything. But hey, man, this conversation means a lot, bro.
Yes, sir. Well, the door is always open, man. This is just the beginning. It's the first season of Redline Legendz. So
absolutely.
The door's always open. And
shake your hand before I eat the rest of this here right good crack. Woo!
Hey, y'all, make sure y'all go hit that subscribe button. Definitely need the help. Definitely need that support. Hit the subscribe button, the red button down there. And make sure that way y'all can catch all the new episodes that are coming out. as we bridge the gap between the younger generation and the older generation. Redline Legendz podcast, Redline Legendz YouTube. We out. Peace out.
No.